Hey guys, Elite Legionarii here, bringing you a 1 versus 1 for Rome Total War. My opponent here is Montgumery 9. He was a really nice guy I met in the lobby. The day I came on to do this, it was one of the days that Heir of Carthage was doing one of his take a stab at patchy things, and I thought, well, I might as well give it a go and see if I can catch a game against him. And I almost did, but what happened was I got that, the game, the GS, Games by Era thing every time I tried to link to Air's games, and I was thoroughly disappointed. But I met Montgomery here, and he's a Christian like myself, and we had some really good conversations, some good games. So, even though I didn't get to play Air, I met a really nice guy, and he had some good games, and it was just good. So, it didn't turn out the way I wanted to with Air, but I still got a really good game in, and had a good time on Rome that day. So anyway, I am in command of Numidia, and Monty, as I'll call him Monty, he's in command of Armenia. And my forces consist of 5 units of gold Numidian legionnaires. I believe it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of gold archers. I think it was 4 units of gold camels, with 1 hidden in the woods here, 2 units of gold desert infantry, and 2 units of gold Cav, I believe, and 2 gold long shield cavalry. My opponent here, Monty, has 1, 2, 3 units of cataphracts, gold. There's 4 units of gold heavy spearmen, and 4 units of gold Armenian legionnaires, and 2 units of, I think they're gold attack, horse archers. And he had a couple of archers which are getting pretty wiped out by my guys. So in a moment what I'll do is I'll actually expend one of my archers to be a peeler shield, and I'm going to begin throwing my peeler. I consider his legionnaires to be, I don't need to use my peeler on them. And he does do a charge here. This was a good move, and it was a good way to avoid peeler, but he didn't really time it to the best timing, and he didn't get the phalanx down very quickly. Here he forgets his peeler with these guys. This could have been effective if he'd done. He does come over a good charge here with his cataphracts, but I intercept him with my camels, and they'll make pretty short work. All these cataphracts are still doing a very good job, but they should cause some pretty serious panic, and I am throwing javelins into these cataphracts' backs. So these cataphracts should I expect rout, because I'm getting lots of numbers down on them with my camels, and of course camels are good against horses. So over here I'm trying to draw a couple of his cataphracts away with my long shield, so I'm going to use for hammer and anvils. And over here I spring my other units out here. I'm going to try and trap him. But I'm going to go for hammer and anvils, and I break through on this side, and now that his line is pinned on my legionnaires, which is going pretty evenly, but because I'm starting to wrap him up, I cause a pretty nice rout there on the left and break through, and he turns to face me with his cataphracts, but they rout as well, and I kill his general. And over here, now I'm going to try and squeeze into his cataphracts here, and I get my camels into their back, and I've got spearmen as support, and I'm going to attack him from this side as well. So I'm running down his cataphracts now before they can regroup and be a pain. His horse archers were shooting me up, but I was just using my cav to fire back at him, and I wasn't inflicting a lot of I wasn't really doing a lot of casualties to them, but I was keeping them out of the fray, which was good. Allowed me to win in other parts of the field. So I managed to rip through his forces pretty quickly. If I had been him, I wouldn't have got so many infantry. Armenian infantry now, it's not bad, but it's not great. It's just okay. It's acceptable. It's good enough for stalling and holding. It's definitely good enough to defeat Numidian infantry, but I went with a pretty heavy cav force and skirmish contingent, which is what you want to do with Numidia. With Armenia, you want to put more focus into cataphracts. You probably would have been better to have about 6 cataphracts, gold, and only about 4 heavy spearmen or 5 heavy spearmen, and a good archer force and some horse archers. It's a more well-rounded and better suited Armenian style army. Yeah, I'm just going to try and catch his cataphracts, which is not going to be too difficult because they're much slower than my guys. And just when they're exhausted and they've got camels and just sheer weight of numbers, he's going to try and kind of like encircle me here, which works temporarily, but I'm going to come in from the flank and squish him in return, basically, and that will rout the remainder of his forces, basically. But he was a really, really nice guy, and I just definitely enjoyed playing the games I played with him. I played a few on Medieval 2 as well on the same day with him and a couple other guys, and it was just a really, really good series of games we played. A lot of fun, good opponent, and just a humble, friendly guy. And they're the kind of people I like fighting the most, or like battling, having a fun battle with, because it's just more fun that way. It's always fun to win with Numidia. It is tough factions for me to win with sometimes. It's an excellent skirmishing faction, so when you skirmish really well, it's pretty much a surefire win faction in a lot of cases, unless you're up against, say, the likes of Egypt or something. But overall, it's a very good faction to use for skirmishing. I usually like to go with a pretty heavy contingent of cavalry units. I usually don't go any more than 5 Numidian Legionnaires, but it depends. If it's a high money game, I might. But in higher money games, sort of missile units become less effective. That doesn't mean they're not effective, they're just not quite as effective as low money games, I guess. I might just triple speak, guys, because we're also just chatting here at the end of this fight, so if I don't go after him immediately, it's because we're sort of just typing to each other, so it's why some of my lines might have been a bit messed up a bit long, because we're spending a lot of time just typing and talking about stuff. But he's got some some Legionnaires there that I didn't actually spot for a while because I was too busy talking. Numidia is a really good skirmishing faction. So is Armenia, if you do it right. But Armenia is also extremely powerful with its cataphracts. But our camels are a very good counter. But the only problem with camels is they're very slow. So you have to try and kind of draw cataphracts in. Cataphracts are not fast cavalry at all. But camels are still much slower than cataphracts, so unless you exhaust them a bit, which is why I like to use like long shields in my Numidian armies, because they're fast, they're a light cavalry unit, but they're quite a decent light cavalry unit, and they're quite capable of just being a really good support unit in various roles. And bits and pieces like that. Often what you can do is you can stall the cataphracts with them and give your camels time, sacrifice them in that way. You can use them to hunt down enemy archers, or you can use them to give jav cavs cover while they inflict some nice casualties with their javelins. So lots of roles for them. These desert infantry, they're not that great. They're good on a desert map. They get some nice bonuses there and they actually become quite deadly, but they're not that great, not really. But I thought it would be useful to have them against the likes of Armenia, so here I just randomly charge what's left of his forces after we finished conversing, and that finishes him off. But a good game to him, and again, like I said, a very good opponent. So 1,398, 1,031 kills and 1,051 left, and Monty had 1,133 men. He got 369 kills and 92 men remaining. So if we look at the statistics here, Legionnaires actually did very well. They're not usually the main striking force of a Numidian army. They're normally just a stalling force, but they actually did pretty well. But Armenian infantry is not. It is a bit better than Numidian, although the Armenian Legionnaires and Numidian Legionnaires are about equal in every way. And they can hold down heavy spearmen as well. He did forget his peeler. That might have made quite a difference. And I didn't really have much of a peeler shield there. I was going to use one of my archers, but he didn't end up using his peeler. So he did try a phalanx charge there, and that's not a bad idea because it would have saved him some of the peeler. But he sort of didn't really get it, time it that well, and they didn't reform very well, which is easy enough to make that mistake. My long shield cavalry, as you can see, cleaned up quite a lot, nearly 100 each. That's pretty awesome for them. My Numidian JFK got 44. kills. Mine only got 16 because it probably took a lot of the brunt of the horse archers, but it doesn't really matter. They keep the horse archers from shooting my flank and allow me to use my archers in other areas, so that's fine. I like to use jab cab in that fashion. You can harass the opponent, you can just use them to draw away other units and all sorts of bits and pieces like that. Take the focus of other certain units, it's good like that. My archers, they came in pretty good there, quite a lot, some 60s and 50s, some pretty nice kills there. Desert infantry didn't really get to touch the battle, and only a couple of the camels really got many kills, but they didn't take really any casualties. But this one's 73 and 51. Camels are very handy, but like I said, very slow, so you kind of have to time it right with them, or get enemy cavalry units kind of stalled so you can catch them. But once you catch them, you usually don't have too much trouble with them, but I wouldn't use them against infantry. And plus, take into account that if you're on a desert map, all of Numidian forces, or pretty much most of Numidia's forces, get a bonus, so they're a pretty tough faction to actually beat in a desert style map. So anyway guys, good game to you, Monty, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you soon next time.